If you paid attention during my Duelist Cup video, you'll notice that I used several different kinds of decks. Fluunderees, Prank Kids, Bee Troopers, but the final duel saw me using Virtual Worlds. Indeed, I've kinda grown to love Virtual Worlds as a deck. It's versatile, has a fun gimmick, and has one hell of a boss monster with the True King of Calamities, which not only turns all monsters on the field into the attribute of your choice, but also prevents your opponent from using the declared attribute's effects or attacking that turn. Yes sir, nothing can go wrong here.
You're banned!
Yeah, unfortunately that marriage didn't last long. The recent banlist update hit Virtual World pretty hard, with both True King getting banned and bamboozling Gossip Shadow. We lost out on both a great rank 3 monster and our boss monster. So now what? While some people are probably gonna opt to dismantle the entire deck, I'm not giving up that easy. Because this deck is still extremely versatile in bringing out some really killer monsters. We just need to figure out how to replace the very fun dragon. But how? First of all, we need to figure out our new win condition. In the old format, it was to bring out True King, Virtual World gate Chuche, and then next turn use the Shenshen we used for True King to resurrect him, and then do massive damage to our opponent. But now what? Well, thankfully there is still a card that can do some heavy damage not too far from what True King could do. Artifact Scythe. Now what Artifact Scythe does is, it can be set as a spell card, and if it's destroyed, it resurrects itself. And if it's summoned on your opponent's turn, it prevents your opponent from summoning from the extra deck that turn. Already pretty lethal, but what most people don't know or realize is that it doesn't have to be destroyed. If it's already in your graveyard and you have a way to summon on your opponent's turn, then you can use the effect without having to destroy it. All in all, pretty nice, but now we just need a way to send it to the graveyard and figure out a way to bring it out. And thankfully for the former, there's a perfect monster for that. Beatrice, Lady the Eternal. Bee was already a force to be reckoned with in several decks, but here she's our ticket to some stellar shenanigans, as at any point during yours or the opponent's turn, she can send any type of card from your deck to the graveyard. There are plenty of other cards that can really utilize this ability along with Scythe that sync up really well with Virtual Worlds, so now all we gotta do is set this deck up. Be right back. Alright, here we go, a deck I like to call the mighty Beep 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 Beep. The main deck is a typical Virtual World deck with a couple new additions. Scythe is obvious, but another one that's going to cause some massive shenanigans is Fairy Tale Snow, as she can be revived at any point by banishing 7 cards from your field or graveyard. And when she's summoned, she can switch an opponent's monster into face down defense position. Another addition is Nibiru. Just a great hand trap, and considering a certain deck didn't get hit so much, he's going to help out. Foolish Burial is another obvious one, as if we can get the adventure engine going with Water Enchantress along with Snow and Scythe in the graveyard, we'll basically have game. Now onto the extra deck where the magic really happens. First up is Stardust Charge Warrior, a simple card that allows you to draw a card when summoned, and he's a level 6, providing something for us to summon Beatrice with. Similar to that is Coral Dragon, a level 6 tuner synchro monster with a great discard a card, destroy a card ability, and if sent to the graveyard, allows you to draw a card. Then there's Muddy Muddragon, who seems deceptively out of place, but is a level 6 Dark Dragon synchro monster, so he can be used to bring out Hot Red Dragon Archfiend Abyss, who can negate any card's effects that are face up on the field once per turn, and when he inflicts battle damage, can resurrect a tuner in the graveyard. Then there's Ultimaya Zulking, who when you set a card, can bring out a level 7 or 8 Dragon Synchro monster, which in our case is the classic monster negator, Crystal Wings Synchro Dragon. Then we have the boss monster of Virtual Worlds, Virtual World Kyubi Shenshen, who makes it so that any card sent from the field is banished instead, and once per turn can return a banished card to the graveyard, and can be resurrected from the graveyard by banishing 2 other monsters in the graveyard. Then you got Baron de Fleur, who is another monster we want to bring out quick, as she can negate and destroy 1 card effect while on the field, can destroy a card once per turn, and during the standby phase, can be sent back to the extra deck to summon out another monster from the graveyard, such as Artifact Scythe. Finally for the synchros, we got Sword Soul Supreme Sovereign Chengying, a great beater monster who gets 100 attack and defense for every banished card, while draining 100 from your opponent's monsters for the same reason. And if a card is banished, can banish 1 card each from your opponent's field and graveyard. And if it would be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish a card from your graveyard instead. The Xyz monsters aren't as crazy, but still nothing to sneeze at. First we got Constellar Ptolemy M7, who can return a card from the field or graveyard to the hand. Great for getting back some cards you had to discard, or a Virtual World monster you didn't utilize the effects for. Then there's Beatrice, obviously. And then there's Dragonlark Pyron, who isn't as effective as Baron, as she can only resurrect a level 5 or lower monster during the standby phase, but will still be helpful if we can't get Baron for whatever reason. Then we got Gaia Dragon Thundercharger, which is really just used to overlay over our rank 6 Xyz monsters, to use as fuel for this bad boy. Divine Arsenal AA Zeus, who at any point can detach 2 materials to send all other cards on the field to the graveyard. Whew! So that's a lot to go over. Let's practice the combo. Alright, so the basic board we want to get out is Chuche, Beatrice, and Baron. Thankfully in this hand we can get Chuche right away, as well as bring out Lili, which lets us send our searcher Qinglong to the graveyard, as well as Nyanyan. Now we can get Lulu and use her to get Laolao, which resurrects Nyanyan, and hey, since we have emergency teleport, we can use that to bring out Muddy Muddragon, and use him for Hot Red Dragon Archfiend. Now we can use Laolao to resurrect Lulu and bring out Beatrice. Now we use B to send Water Enchantress, banish her, and get rid of the Aramesir. Go through that whole rigmarole to get Winged Gryphon Rider and use them to bring out Baron. And since we have Laolao and the Adventure token, let's use that to bring out Qiangying. So from that hand alone, we got Hot Red, Baron, B, Qiangying, and Chuche. That's 2 Omni Negates, our gateway to our win condition, and 2 disruptions all out. Now realistically with hand traps and the like, I doubt Qiangying will be as likely and possibly not even Hot Red. But this is still a real hard to bust board. And hell, with Qiangying out, honestly, Fairy Tail Snow might even be enough to do some serious damage while keeping Baron out. That's what's cool about this new deck. There's plenty of options. Now, time to take this thing out to ranked and see how it does. BRB. Alright, I took this thing for a ride in Diamond 1, and honestly, it's pretty good. While not as insanely effective as the True King version, this is still a really powerful deck and can hang around in Diamond. It's definitely at its best going up against extra deck heavy decks like Halkidon, Prank Kids, and the like, which, considering the current meta, is rather nice. And yes, I did the Maxi challenge with it and won. Scythe isn't the only play to go for either, which is nice, so if that's a no-go, there's plenty that can be done. Which is especially nice as not all the best decks right now rely on the extra deck. I've since however made some changes to the main deck. I replaced Crossout Designated with Ghost Ogre for the sake of another hand trap, especially one that'll have great synergy with this deck. And I also added another Baron to floor, replacing the Psy-Frame Lord Omega I had previously. Having 2 out will be absurdly powerful, especially as her negate effect isn't a hard once per turn. Overall, I'm really happy with how this deck turned out. I'm definitely going to use it a lot in Platinum alongside some other decks I've been working on. But this is just me. Did the banlist update affect your deck in any ways? And if so, how did you adapt? Or did you even adapt? Let me know in the comments, please subscribe, and now we give a send-off to the True King.